Okay, guys, so today what we're going to do, I wanted to, okay, let me just introduce myself, especially people that don't know. So I'm David, and I'm the speaker. I work at dbrown Consulting. I've been using Excel now for about 22 years. I've been working with Power BI since they started developing it as Power Pivot in Excel. So Microsoft guys used Power Pivot in Excel, develop Power Pivot in Excel, and then DAX, and then M, and then Power Query, and then Power View, and then Power Maps. All these Power are the Power BI cousins. So those are the tools that make up Power BI. So I've been working with that for quite a while. I build lots of models, and also I do a lot of teaching as well. So I'm an ATD master trainer, master instructional designer. The sponsors for this webinar is dbrown Consulting. So dbrown Consulting is the sponsor, and through dbrown Training. And dbrown Consulting does three main things. They will do training, consulting, and payroll. So training services, consulting services, and payroll services. So training has an e-learning arm, which is on officetraininghub.com. So if you go to www.officetraininghub.com, you get the detailed training. Consulting is dbrownconsulting.net, and then payroll services as well, where we do executive payroll online as a software as a service. Then courses, these are the typical courses that dbrown Consulting offers. It's more like an analyst training, financial analysis training. So modeling, lots and lots of modeling training, Excel, Office 365, financial analysis, business intelligence, and visualization. That's the main courses. Now, all these courses you see here, within the next 6 months, they will be online on the website of officetraininghub.com. So currently there are courses already there, and somebody is going to win a course today, as in you're going to win a course as part of the webinar today. Right. So let's see. These are the affiliates of dbrown Consulting. So dbrown Consulting are affiliated. Those that said they're interested in financial modeling, an excellent announcement is that there is a new financial modeling institute, and it's a global institute that's based in Canada, and they already have offices and affiliations all over the world. We are proud to be, well, I think, the only approved training providers in Africa, really, not just Nigeria. And of course, we'll have others joining us soon. But we basically approved because of our competence in financial modeling training. So we're going to prepare people for the first exam that's coming up in October, which is Financial Modeling Institute's certificate course. You know, there are 3 levels: level 1, level 2, level 3. Level 1 is called Advanced Financial Modeler. Level 2 is Chartered Financial Modeler, and Level 3 is Master Financial Modeler. So Level 1 exams are coming up next month, and we're going to try and see if we can get a center in Nigeria. So if this is something you like, financial modeling, please go to fminstitute.com and then go to where they have the exam or location, and just put in there that you want a location in Nigeria. The more people that put that in there, the more likely it is we'll get a location, an exam center here in Nigeria, so it's cheaper for you to do the exams. But I can tell you this is an excellent institute, and this modeling to me is one of the most important uses of Excel. Yeah, so dbrown is also a Microsoft partner, data analytics partners, and we also are members of ATD, which is Association for Talent Development. Now, you're joining us through the Power BI meetup group. So we have a meetup group, which is Nigeria Modern Excel and Power BI meetup group. I think we're about 1,300 members now. And we have a new meetup group, actually. It's called Financial Modeling, the Financial Modeling Meetup Group. So if you're interested in modeling, join the Modeling Meetup Group, because we're also going to start webinars. We're going to start meetups on modeling. And it's going to be interesting, strictly on modeling, financial analysis. Of course, modeling and financial analysis also use Excel. So we'll be talking Excel too, but more with the modeling stint. Here we're talking Excel based on the reporting stint, as in how do you use Excel for reporting, and Power BI and Excel for reporting. And then we also have the POG group, Power BI User Group, Nigeria Modern Excel and Power BI User Group. POG is Power BI User Group managed by Microsoft. So we help Microsoft manage that. Please join that group, because there are more freebies, there are more free stuff in that Power BI User Group than in the Meetup group. So join the Power BI User Group. All right, and these are the contacts. So we're now ready to start our webinar for the day. I have a big case study for you. This is one that someone sent in recently. So I thought, okay, this is quite a big problem that some people have, and let's see how we solve it. So this is our agenda for the day, and hopefully we'll be able to go through. You know, time always flies, so we try as much as possible to fly through this agenda. Where first thing is we're going to look at a convoluted Excel case study. I call it convoluted Excel data case study. So it's and then we look at 10 steps to become an Excel guru. So what I've done is I've filtered all my processes of how I've learned Excel in this last 22 years. And why, Solomon, why I said that three years is good for you is because Excel has evolved over the last. I mean, I'm sure there are some people here that have used Excel for a pretty long time. They understand what I'm saying. Excel has moved on very far. So if you are just joining Excel for the last 3 years, then you won't learn all our bad practices of the past. You will just go straight into the new interface and stuff. So that's why I said you're a bit lucky. And if you watch all these webinars, you'll be able to gain from our experiences. In fact, I think I have a small poll for you guys. Let me see. I want to ask how long you've been using Excel. So if you can check that poll, I'm launching a poll right now. So just check and see, answer the poll to see how long you have been using Excel. So let's see our audience. I want to see what kind of audience we have. Okay, now all of us have voted, so I'm still waiting for everyone to vote. Okay, we don't have anyone that's 0 to 2 years. That's very interesting. So we already have people that have kind of been using Excel for a while now, right? So I can see 3 to 5 years, about 22% of us 3 to 5 years. I can see 56%, most of us are 6 to 10 years. And in fact, we have some real gurus in the house, about above 10 years. About 22% of us here are already above 10 years. So I guess this case study will be very interesting because I want to make it interactive, and let's see who is going to win the prize, because the prize winning is going to be based on this case study. So we're back to our slides. And I'll start with the case study, and what I'll do is in between, I'm going to be jumping in and out of our top 10 steps to become an Excel guru. Then I'll just show you what is the new September update for Power BI Desktop. For those new to Power BI Desktop is take it like the Excel, the Power BI like Excel that you have on your desktop or your computer, and you now do stuff on it, just a bit like Excel, but not really. And then you can publish that to the powerbi.com service online. So that Power BI Desktop, we call it a local client. Local client in the sense that it has all the tools you need to build whatever report you want to build. And then if you want to share that report, you just publish it online. So that Power BI Desktop, every single month, Microsoft ships a new version. It's free, absolutely free. You can go to powerbi.com to get it. And Microsoft updates it. In fact, Microsoft updates every single week. So all the weekly updates, they compile it into a monthly update, and they update the Power BI Desktop app every month. So go to powerbi.com, click on download the app. Excellent app. Visualizations are just wonderful. Then we're going to talk about the live meetup. I've already done that. We have a live meetup on Saturday. Now, for those that have already registered for the live meetup, the venue is going to change. We're going to send you an email later today. The venue is changing, but the meetup is still happening. And then we talked about the new meetup for financial modeling. Go to meetup.com, and I'll also leave a link. All right, and then the challenge of the month and the winner. So I told you already, the challenge of the month is going to be answering questions based on our case study. All right, so now to the case study. So let's just have a look at the report first. So I'll click on the report that we're supposed to build. So that's coming up now. So I get this report that I'm supposed to build, right? So this is the expenses. This is a typical report. I have my expense code. So if you guys are accountants, if we have any accountants in the house, this will look familiar. We have petty cash, salaries and wages, employee welfare, stationery, office supplies, and stuff like that, excavator, I mean, all sorts of, so get my total expense at the end, right? So get my total now. The reason I need these expenses is I need to extract them because I'm building a group financial model. So I want to build a group financial model. I need to download the historical expenses, the historical data, so that I can understand what the drivers are for my model. So for those that kind of understand modeling, you understand what I mean by drivers. What is driving every line item of this? So the first thing you need to do is obviously get the historical data in. Now, this is a group model, which adds to the complexity because I'm supposed to get this from different companies. So this total here, this September 2016 petty cash, I'll need to go to, let's assume we have 5 companies that make up the group. So I need to go to each and every company and go download that data and then put it in there. You get so it's not that simple. So let's have a look at the data itself, so we can see how we can bring this data in. All right, so I'll just open the data and let's have a look at what the data looks like. So this is the data. So we have the data here. We have a code column here. We have dates, we have description, and let me just scroll right. To the right, you have A Limited, a company called A Limited, another company called Top Limited, another company called Dhaka Limited, Pastor Limited, and Answer Limited. Then I guess you have investment expense, capital expense, and operations expense, all these various breakdowns here. And so can someone please type in the chat or in the question, what do you see here? Is there anything, any issue you see with trying to consolidate this or trying to get this data into the main reporting tool? Yeah, so the reporting tool is where my model is going to sit. So key thing first is really identify the problems, right? So can you tell me what issues you see here? And really that's what will help us build this out. Anyone want to identify the issues? Now the first step in breaking down a problem is you need to understand what the problem is. Once you understand what the problem is, you're halfway there, right? So anybody here have an idea what the issues will be? Okay, let me demonstrate something. Let's say I want petty cash. I want petty cash for September. So technically, I think I would just go equals to sum, right? Equals to sum. Then I go to the reporting tool and check for the code. Okay, first problem is there are multiple codes, right? So I need to, petty cash was EP001. I don't even have EP001 for this guy. So for this particular September, there was no, maybe there was no petty cash, right? So let me look for something that there was. Let's say EP006. So EP006 in my report is office setup. So office setup for September is going to be equal to sum, I guess, sum of, and I go to my data, right? Office setup. So you can see that all these guys, EP006, this is office setup. Let me just make this a bit bigger. So let me go back and make this larger so you can see it. So equals to sum office setup. Now office setup, I will need to now sum up. First of all, I'll need to identify where the office setup is. So some people will filter, I guess. We will now filter this column. Some, anywhere you have EP006, you have to go and sum it up. But then you need to sum it up by company. I guess nobody had any. Okay, somebody here had some office setup. So you sum it up somehow like that. You enter, you have this, right? Now you need to find another way. Someone says, can you suggest something else? Maybe VLOOKUP, right? Or what else would you suggest? Well, VLOOKUP will not find the total. What function? Can we just type in the question box? Give me a function that you think I can use instead of what I'm just doing now. Give me a function that you think can work. Okay, so Onimisi says SUMIF. Abiola Sani says index and match. Echika says pivot table. Now the problem pivot table, Echika, is look at this. See the data source. The data source is many sheets. Can you see October in another sheet, November in another sheet, December in another sheet, January in another sheet. So there's a lot of data and many sheets. Pivot table will not help us here, unfortunately. Now, index and match. Index and match is excellent. I like people that know index and match. In fact, for those that don't, go to our YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube and type dbrownconsulting, and you'll see our channel. Subscribe to our channel so you can get explanations on how to use index and match, VLOOKUP, and many things. I think we have about 70 videos there. So just subscribe to our channel. But index and match will not work here either, because what index and match does is find one single point. So let's assume you want to index and match a certain value. You're looking for one data point, EXP024. You can't look for many because there are many here. They're like 1, 2, 3, 4 EXP024. So index and match won't work. I think SUMIF is the answer, really. SUMIF should work. So let's say, Onimisi, you have 1 point. I want someone to get to, let's say, let's just say 3 points, and then you win the prize. You already have 1 point, so let's take note. Onimisi has 1 point, and Solomon too has 1 point. I don't know if he put that after I said it, but Solomon, you have 1 point. Cool. Onimisi and Solomon, you're ahead, 1 point each. You need to get to 3. Okay, now let's move on. So I'll do SUMIF. Let's see how that works. We know that there are some values here, right? So, but the problem is if I'm summing if, let's see if I'm summing if. See, SUMIF, open bracket, Control A. Now, for those that don't know SUMIF, look at what it does. SUMIF looks at a range, a criteria, and a sum range. Those are the 3 things. What do we mean by a range and criteria? Well, I will start with criteria. What are we summing? Now, if you want to solve any problem in Excel, try and write it on paper first. What is my key? Who can identify my key for this row? Just write it in the chat. What is the key identifier that's going to help me do the SUMIF? What's my key identifier? Who's the first person to get my key identifier? I want the actual key identifier, not the actual one. Type the actual key identifier. Solomon got it. Some people wrote the heading. Code. Okay. Don't worry. Anyone that gets 3 points wins this prize. So in fact, not only 1 prize. Solomon, you wrote it EXP006, but technically Solomon got this first. Now let me do this. Let me rewind. Onimisi got the first one, so Onimisi 1 point for you. Solomon, this is just 1 point for you. Sorry, you're the first person to get the second question, right? So 1 point. We're doing that. So 1 point. EXP006, but actually it's not. Can you see it's EXP space 006? Now, when you're working in Excel, it's extremely important to understand that space is a character. If you do EXP006 and EXP space 006, they will not work. So if you look at SUMIF, whenever I want to use SUMIF, the first place I go is criteria, because that's easy. Criteria is what I am looking for. So I'm going to click criteria. Yeah. Now, if you look at this table, right, you know that I am going to have to drag this formula to the right. Yeah, I'm going to have to drag it to the right. And dragging it to the right because I want to use it for everybody. So someone should tell me, what reference should I have for B14? Just type the correct reference inside the question box now. What reference should I have for B14? Type it out, and you get 1 point. Type it out. What reference should I have for B14? But the longer, you're the first guy, and you got it right. He typed $B14. Thanks a lot. In fact, if we have applause, you can just give him the applause. But they got it first. Nice. So B14, look at it. I have to lock the column. Yeah, I have to lock the column because look at this. If I lock, what do you mean by lock in Excel, right? The dollar locks B, right? And then we have 14. So $B14. So B is locked. 14 is free. Why is 14 free? Because 14 is going to probably change to 15. When I drag this down, it will change to 15, 16. But when I drag this to the right, B will remain B. It won't change to C or D. And that's because all our codes are in B. Excellent. Now my range, and so my criteria is basically what I'm looking for. Now, where am I looking for this? Where exactly? Where am I looking for this range? Yeah. So range, where am I looking for it? Just tell me where. In the question, just type where am I looking for it. The data sheet, Echika, you got that. It's getting difficult to monitor now. Echika got it first, the data sheet. Thank you very much. So in fact, you need to, who is going to be our scribe? Who wants to volunteer? Sorry guys, can you all see the questions? Let me release your all. So can you all see everybody's answers to questions? Just put your hands up if you can. Who wants to volunteer? I need to know what you're viewing. Unfortunately, I'm not sure what you're viewing. Okay, you wrote no, you can't. Okay, so you're relying on me to tell the truth. Okay, so anyway, Echika got that. So what I'm going to do is we're going to do a recon of this, and then at the end of the webinar, we're going to compile and see who wins. Okay, we compile who got the answers right. So Echika got this one. Nice. All right. So maybe I'll ask someone. Let me see. Clarice, if you're there, if you can just take note of who is getting. Let me just check if Clarice is there. Let me release your mic, Clarice. Okay. Anyway, don't worry, guys. I'll make sure that you get it. And you can monitor your points yourself as well. I've mentioned who won. Onimisi got the first one. Solomon got the second one, I think. And Echika, is it? No, Bode got one. And Echika got another. Is it Echika? Yeah, Echika. So take note of yourselves, guys. And I'm going to rush through, and I'll ask another question later. So you're right. So range is this B4, this EXP, this code. We're looking for it in the sheet, the range, the data sheet. So I'm going to go to the data sheet. So I'll just click Excel and navigate to the data sheet. And then I'm going to highlight the data sheet, right? Now look at it. I'm highlighting the data sheet for January 17. Just take note. I want you to take notes and try and understand where the problems are coming from for this kind of case study, right? I'm highlighted the data sheet for January 17. Right. Now, just take note of the issues you think would happen and let me know. Then I'm now going to my sum range. So my sum range, guys, someone should tell me what do I mean by sum range? Where am I getting it from? Where is the sum range going to come from? Where? Just type it in the question box. Solomon, who got it? Oh, Echika got it first. Oh, Echika said data sheet. She just repeated what she said before. Was it Echika's guy? I don't know. Echika, I've never heard the name. Anyway, data sheet, yeah, right again. So you already have 2 points. Nice. Very fast with the keyboard. Nice one, nice one. So let me recap for you guys. The criteria is I'm looking for this code. I'm looking for it in a range. Now your range has to be a column. Very important. Your range has to be a column. So you're looking for this code in a column in the data sheet. Then this sum range, you're going to our data sheet again. So I go back to my data sheet, and this time I'm summing a range. Now that's where the problem starts. Look at this. First of all, I just clicked on I, if you're not seeing it, and instead of clicking on I, the thing clicked on the whole spreadsheet. That's because people have done merge cells. You can just write this rule down somewhere. Anytime you have a data sheet, never, ever, ever merge cells, okay? Never merge cells. Just put that rule down. Your data sheet is for data. There are 10 golden rules for data. If you check our past webinars, you see those 10 golden rules. But never merge cells is one of them. So if you look at my formula, if you can see it, it is C to W when I only want it to be I to I. So I have to manually type I to I to, okay, I to I. This is not good, manual typing. And then I click OK. Let's see what happens. We found a problem with this formula. Try clicking Insert Function on the formula tab to fix it. Okay, so let's have a look at the function. Let's go FX. So they have a problem with it. Let's see what I did wrongly. Data sheet. Can you see this double quote here? So the double quote, Excel is like doesn't understand what I just typed in there, and it put double quotes there. So it put double quotes into the apostrophe. Now, can anyone identify what this problem is? Anybody? What is the problem here? Anybody identify this problem? Just type it out. Okay, people can, let me just put this like this so you can see it. This is the Excel we just typed in here. That's the left arrow key. Yep. So this is the formula we just typed. We have sum if data dot XLS January 17 B4 data XLS January 17 $I. Anybody identify the problem? Yeah, so the quotes before, yes, the quotes before were put in by Excel because Excel didn't understand what it is I was trying to do. So Excel was complaining, so it put those quotes. So it's Excel that put those quotes in. Yeah? Right, what else can you see? What's the issue? Okay, so let me jump to some slides. Let me just give you some of the best practice golden rules because time is moving fast. So I'm going to put those slides up, and then I'm going to go through this case study throughout without asking any more questions, right? So that we can actually finish this in a bit of time. So let me give you some 10 tips to become an Excel guru. I'll start with tip number one. The tip number one for me is you need to master the fundamentals. Master the fundamentals. Now, what do I mean by master the fundamentals? And for those in the house that are a bit more experienced, what would you consider are fundamentals? What would you consider are the real fundamental skills people have to have? Can you just type some things based on your experience for those experienced ones? What are the skills, fundamental skills in Excel? I'll give you some of mine. Cell referencing. You need to understand cell referencing. You need to understand that dollar thing we just did. Is it absolute reference, which is $2, dollar? Is it relative reference with no dollar? Is it row constant or column constant? That's locking a row or locking a column. That's one of the fundamental skills. Any other one? I can see some say sort, filter. Yes, sort, filter, syntax. The operators are also very important. What I mean by the operators is you have the join operator is the and sign. There are various operators, your multiplication, your addition, your subtraction, arithmetic operators. There are many other operators, but there are some operators that some very advanced users don't know. And there's one with a space where you have the space which is called the intersect operator. Maybe I'll talk about that in the next webinar. And there's some other operators, but general operators, understand 10 golden rules, basic number formatting, that's rule number one. So that's tip one. Tip two is what I call the cube rule. The cube rule, that's one cubed. The cube rule is consciously familiarize yourself with one new use of one function every single day. So if you want to be a guru, you should do that. Consciously familiarize yourself with one new use for one function every day. So that's 111, the cube rule, right? So that's number three. Number three is don't just learn a function, understand why it works the way it does. Very key. Don't just learn a function, understand why it works the way it does. Very important. Then another rule, know the difference between Excel and Excel's many cousins. I like to say that Excel has cousins because frankly speaking, this statement that we use in our trainings is if it is not in a cell in Excel, it is not Excel. Just take that statement to heart. If it's not in a cell in Excel, it's not Excel. So if it's not in a cell in Excel, then it's a foreign object, right? And you need to understand how that foreign object works with Excel. For example, charts. Charts are not Excel. They are tools that work with Excel. Pivot table is not Excel. It's a tool that works with Excel. Most of these things that work with Excel, if you go to Excel, you see them under Insert. When you click Insert, you'll see all of them there. All those guys are excellent, but they are not technically Excel. They've just been cousins that have been brought into Excel. Take Power Query, for example. Power Query came in as a cousin, a distant cousin. So it was an add-in, but now Power Query in 2016 is inside Excel directly. So Excel has integrated it, but it's still not Excel. It's just a tool that works with Excel. Excel has so many tools that work with it. Some are distant cousins, like in fact, I give them names. I call charts. Charts are cousins. Power Pivot is a second cousin. Macros is a distant relative. Pivot Table is an adopted son. And then Power Query is a new wife. So all of them are, that's how I treat them. So tip 5, master everything about the index function. Tip 5, master everything about the index function. To me, the index function is the most powerful function in Excel, especially for advanced users. And I can spend a whole webinar on index, just index. Maybe I should in the next webinar or a couple of webinars. If you want, put that in the, maybe you can register immediately for the next webinar and say, okay, index. If we see that that's the question most people are asking, we'll do that. Index is so powerful. There are many things it can do. Tip 6, master the 3-sheet methodology to automate reports. Now, for me, if you look at the sheet we're working with, we had January, February, March, April, May, June, July. That is the wrong way to work in Excel. In Excel, there's no time you need more than 3 sheets, unless maybe you just want to see a report in a separate sheet. You only need 3 sheets. You need the data sheet. Now, can someone identify the next two? Identify the next two. We need a data sheet. Someone should type the next two to get some points. Data sheet. What are the other two sheets you need in report automation? Okay, so Abiola has got 1 point. Report sheet. Yep, report sheet. Etika, well, yes, but it's not called result sheet. So you need data report. You need data. Report is the results, the same thing. Who knows the last one? That's the third sheet you need to automate your reports effectively. Data, report, okay, no one got it. Control. Control is the third sheet. Data, report, and control. Those are the third. So data, report, and control, those are the 3 sheets you need. Now, if you want to learn this methodology, we have an online training on Office Training Hub. That's the training someone is going to win today. It's report automation with modern Excel. Okay, it's on officetraininghub.com. In fact, you can go there and do the free version of it. There's a free version, officetraininghub.com. You can go and check out report automation in modern Excel. It gives you detailed analysis of how to automate every report just using only Excel. No VBA, just Excel. Once you get new data, you dump it into a folder, all your reports are automatically ready without any programming. Of course, with Excel programming. Okay, so let's move to the next tip. Master Power Query. Power Query is relatively new, but Power Query will help you clean up data. Power Query is an extremely essential tool for you to become a guru. You need to master Power Query. So that's tip 7. Tip 8. Tip 8 is master formatting. Now, we used to say this song, or we used to make our participants sing this song when they come for training, is a format can never change what is in a cell. It only changes what you see. And what you see is not necessarily what is in a cell. Okay? A format can never change what is in a cell. It only changes what you see. And what you see is not necessarily what is in a cell. You understand that when you master formatting. And when I say master formatting, I mean master normal formatting, master cell styles, and master conditional formatting. All 3. Right. Tip number 9. Tip number 9 is use paper, not Excel, to break down and simplify problems. Okay, so use paper, break down your problem, simplify it on paper, then automate each step in Excel. So I'm going to quickly go through that when we do that case study. Use paper, not Excel, break down your problems, and then once you break it down to steps, now ask yourself, okay, this step, what can I use in Excel to solve it? Oh, VLOOKUP. This step, what can I use to solve it? Oh, pivot table. This step, what can I use to solve it? And you just solve step by step. That's how you become a master, breaking down problems and then knowing which Excel functions to use for each step. Now, how will you know which Excel functions to use? That's where I said, if you remember, I think it was rule 2, master one new thing about one function every day. Very important. Now, the last tip for you to become a guru is actively look for Excel problems to solve. Be generous with your knowledge and you will learn more. Okay? Actively look for Excel problems. So anytime anyone has an issue, just go out of your way and help. Go out of your way all the time and help. Because once you help, it sticks in your head. It's there and you have a database of solutions you will never know. Yeah, and what you can do is go online to forums, go to like mrexcel.com, for example. There's a wonderful forum there, loads of questions on Excel. Go and try and solve people's problems. Yeah, or actually read some people's problems and the solutions people provided. You will just do that once a day. Once a day, read one problem and see the solution once a day. In a year, you'd really be a guru. All right, so those are my tips for you. I'm now coming back to our case study. Anyone, which of these tips did you like, guys? Which ones kind of resonated with you? Can you type that in your chat or the question? Tip 1, tip 2, tip 3. I'm rolling back to the beginning so you can see them again. What tip really works for you? Tip 6, Solomon likes tip 6. Master the 3-sheet methodology to automate reports. Okay, cool. So Solomon, hopefully you win the training. Okay, Etika likes tip 10. Onimisi likes tip 10. Okay, and Kange likes tip 8. Let me see, what was tip 8? Master formatting. Okay, that's nice. And then let me see, I think, which one do I like? I like this one actually. This tip 4, will make you understand Excel in a deeper sense. Because if it's not in a cell, then you know it's not Excel. So you know you need to now change your, how I call it, your paradigm, and then know that you're going to use a different methodology to learn that thing, because it is really not Excel, even though it's in Excel. Because if it's in a cell in Excel, that's when it's Excel. So yeah, it's quite interesting once you break this down, once you understand this a lot. And quite a few people like tip 2. Oh, the cube rule. Yeah, one new use of one function each day. I'm not saying learn a new function each day. For example, I can tell you to take you probably 10 days to learn VLOOKUP. You learn one use of VLOOKUP today. Tomorrow you learn another use of VLOOKUP, or index. Index will probably take you 20 days. So each day in those 20 days, you're learning a new thing that index can do. Yeah, so that's what I mean. One new use of one function every single day. And just tell yourself you're doing that. You're paying yourself, because it's good to develop yourself. So maybe in the morning, 7:30 to 8 o'clock, I'm going to develop myself. I need to learn one new function of Excel each day, and then I need to understand maybe one or two other of the rules. Now I'm going to put this guy for you guys to download. I'll see if we can do that now. I'll try and do that now. I'll probably give us a few minutes break and do that. So would you like that? Should I quickly put this up for you guys to download? You like all these rules? Yes, no? Okay, so you give me 2 minutes or 1 minute. I'll try and be fast and put it up for you. So those are the 10 rules for becoming a guru. Let me see if I can help get that up for you. Well, you guys should start thinking about solutions to that case study. All right, so let me get this up for you. Here we are. Let me put up the data for you. So I put up the data. Let me load this into your materials. Okay, guys, I'm about loading it, so it's kind of loading slowly. Very poor data network, I guess. So just bear with us a bit. All right, so you're going to get that soon. So let's get back to this question. Let's see how we can solve this problem. All right. So here I have that SUMIF. So if you look at, let me quickly do that again. So I have SUMIF. So I have my SUMIF, and I'm looking at this column here, which is this code B15. And then another thing is I'll need to check, because one key problem you could have in Excel, right, is if you look at this Excel, I think it's 1,048,576 rows. And let me just be sure that the report is not Excel 20. Let me see. The data is not Excel 20 old Excel. Okay, it's 1,048,000 as well. All right, that's super. So because old Excel had 65,536, I believe, rows, which is not quite small. So the different sizes, Excel will be confused at the different sizes of Excel that you're using. So my criteria, as I said, I always start with criteria, F4, F4, F4 to lock the column. My range is, I have to go to my data, and then my range, let's just say my range is B, and let's just say my sum range, I have to go back to my data as well. And the sum range is, unfortunately, you can't really highlight because of that column. So I'm just going to highlight A, because if we highlight I, it doesn't show. So I'm just going to highlight A, right? And let's say OK. Now, OK gives me 0, right? Because A is really not it. So I'm going to type I. I think that it was column I that we wanted. Okay? So it's because, so this is the formula. Now let's have a look. So someone should, let's look at this formula critically. We have put this formula in. In fact, let me copy this formula to somewhere that has data. Let's say September 2016, right? But you know, we kind of got data for, let me get for Office. So this is Office set, EXP06. Let me quickly check. EXP06 for I, anything? EXP06, where are you? 06, it's no 06. There's 02, so let's just type something in here under I. We're going to type 200,000. So say this 200,000, since it's EXP002, if we come back to our report, this row here, EXP002, is supposed to bring it out. But let's see, Does it bring it up? Excellent. So Echika or whoever said SUMIFS, you are right. But I want you to now identify the problem we have. We've basically, look at what we've done. We've come to our data. We said, hey, look for whatever code we have here, and then go and sum whatever figures we have in this column. Look for whatever code and sum whatever figures. Please identify all the other issues we have to be able to automate this for our reports. I'll give you one. One is, I don't want just that column. I want these 3 columns. I want this, this, and this, all right? I want these 3, yeah? And those 3 are just for one company called A Limited. Then I want A Limited separately because I want to consolidate by different companies separately. Then I want to consolidate by Top Limited. Then I want to consolidate by Dhaka Limited. Then once I consolidate by different companies, I want to now consolidate for every single sheet. Can you see where the issue is? What I've just done here is manually collected I. It's not dynamic. When the company is Top Limited, it's not going to be I, it's going to be L. And then if I go to each sheet and check, are you sure that Top Limited or A Limited is in I? Yes, okay, A Limited is in I here. So is each sheet the same structure? Because, you know, we're just using one sheet as a sample. Is each sheet the same structure? Yes, each sheet is the same structure. So we're happy. If each sheet is not the same structure, you need to make them the same structure. I mean, A Limited starts with I, and then the last company ends with W. All right? So if I check each other sheet, yeah, it starts with oh, you can see L. No, it starts with I, and then ends with hopefully W. Cool. So that kind of works. But if you look at your formula critically, you would see that that's not the only problem. There are other problems. Let me freeze panes another way. Let me just go up like this, freeze panes from here, so we can see the formula well. Freeze panes. So I'll just quickly go through the solution to this. So this formula has SUMIFS, SUMIF data XLS. Can you see this, Jan? This is one limiting factor. Jan is a limiting factor because I have data from September 2016 up to maybe December 2017 or January 2017. So this is limiting. This is like, it won't allow me to automatically change. I want this to change based on this, my heading up here. But I can just tell you for free, if you try and do and here and link, it will not work. So I won't even bother doing that. You can't join it with and, it won't work. So we'll try it and see. And then another limiting factor is this B here. Can you see this B? This B is, okay, this B is fine because all the codes are in B. So this is not a limiting factor. That's fine. This B10 is okay because everything is going to be on column B. All our criteria is going to be column B. But then this January is also still a limiting factor because we want it to be based on this September up here. And then this is a bigger limiting factor. See this I? The issue we have is this I just takes one column. So if I have a company like A Limited, A Limited's total expense will not just be I, it's going to be I plus J plus K. So once you get your simple solution, you now need to solve each problem one at a time. If you check, I don't know what golden rule that was. It's prize for anyone that can remember that golden rule that says break the problem down on paper. What tip was that? That's another point. You guys need to get to 3 to win this prize. What tip was that said, Echika, 9. Echika said 9 first. I'm not sure if you got it. I'm not even sure what the tip it was. Your memory would be something else. Let's just see if you got that tip. 9, is it? So sorry guys, we're going to do extended for like 15 minutes for this solution. I hope you're okay with that. Are we okay with that? Just type yes if you're okay with that. We're going to add another 15 minutes to our time. All right. Okay. Super. So let's see if Echika was right. What was tip 9? Let me see. What was tip 9? Tip 9, tip 9. Oh, tip 9, tip 9, tip 9, tip 9, tip 9, tip 9, tip 9. Wow. Completely. So Echika, how many points do you have now? I think I've said your name very a lot of time. Do you have, are you sure? You have 3 already. Are you sure? Does everybody agree? Did I mention Echika's name 3 times? Okay, because you got it. So I think we need applause. So Etika, I don't even need to do analysis. Etika is our winner. Can we just give her a round of applause? You can just type clap, clap, clap. As in Etika is the winner of the prize. So in fact, well done, you won our prize. And now you need to now concentrate on this, we see, but you're not making it bad for everybody. They don't have the chance to win. But Etika, congratulations. Let me show you what you've won. So let me quickly get to what you've won. This is what you've won. So you've won report automation in modern Excel. So it's worth $70, a $70 cost, but actually I tell you now it's worth $400 because this is equivalent to a 3-day course we have on Power Excel 2. We call it Power Excel 2. A 3-day course that gives you nearly everything we've learned and how we've broken down how to make Excel efficient. So you're going to learn all the golden rules you've seen there. You're going to learn some very advanced ways of using SUMIFS. You're going to learn the 3 steps, the 3 sheets you need to be able to automate any report. You're going to learn Power Query, so a detailed Power Query on how you can create a database using Power Query, where you're going to drop all your data into a folder and automatically consolidate that folder into Excel so that when you drop new data into that folder, it automatically enters Excel. And then you're going to learn some tricks about how you create reports and dashboards, and then you're going to learn how to make Excel refresh automatically. So you don't ever need to touch anything. All you ever need to do after this training with your data is get your new data, clean it up, drop it into one folder, and open your Excel report, and everything is done. Everything enters, everything just goes through. So congratulations, Echika, you've won this. What you should do is go online to officetraininghub.com, officetraininghub.com. Then once you get there, you'll see various trainings. Click on this one called Report Automation in Modern Excel. Then select free trial. Once you select free trial, someone will see it in our office and then we'll activate your full course. So once you select free trial, we will now activate your full course and you've got the course. Well done, congratulations. Let's move on to our case study. Let's quickly move back to our case study. All right. Okay, so Echika has won that, but we'll move back to our case study. Now we're going to solve each problem one at a time. Yeah, we're going to solve each problem one at a time. Let me remind you of the problem. Now, this is how you master Excel. You find one solution and say, but this thing will not work. Then break down the formula. What's the problem? There's January problem. Let's solve that first. Can you see this Jan problem, Jan 17? The problem with this Jan 17 is that it's not going to be it shouldn't be just Jan 17. It should be September. And if you look at it, this month, right? This is a date, and if you understand how Excel treats dates, you see that dates are numbers, but really we want this date to be a text. So the first thing we're going to do is create a helper cell at the top. We're going to use a function called text, and this function is going to say text, this value that we have that's a date, that's a number, I want you to give me that date in this format, and the format I want for that date is MMMYY. Why am I saying that? Because what will happen is that date will now be in exactly the format I want for my formula. And then my formula, if you see the name of the sheet, because this is the name of the sheet in the other workbook. So this sheet is called Jan 17. So 3-letter month and 2-letter year. Can someone tell me what problems I'm going to have using this methodology? You can just type it into the chat. I'll talk about it. So Jan 2017 needs to be, it will link it to this. So if you look at this, let me try this manually, right? And you see why it won't work. If I come to this and I say, hey, put an and sign here, and then I select this, and then delete this Jan, really it won't work. So let me just trust me, it won't work. Who knows the function that will make me kind of create a dynamic range here? Who knows the function that can do that in Excel? Can you type it in the chat? There's one very special but actually very dangerous function that can help you write a long string of a reference into your formula and it will work. Array is not an array. Okay, the name of the function is actually called indirect. But before I use indirect, let's solve all the problems. It's called indirect. The second problem I have is this I. This I, why do I have a problem with I? The problem I have with I is if I go to my data, you will see that I is just one column. I needed to get 3 columns for one company, right? Then I needed to get another 3 columns for another company. So I think the first thing I need is I need a list of the companies themselves. So I've created this helper column here. This helper column, I've created it called where we have the list of our companies. So if you look at the list of our companies in this helper column, I have the list of my company, and then I have company A Limited. The investment is inside column I, and I've just typed $I, colon $I, right? That's just to signify column I, yes? And then the capital is in $J, $J. And then the operations is in $K, $K. Do you understand what I'm showing here? So what I'm showing here is basically I'm saying that for company A Limited, we need I, we need J, and we need K. Company Top Limited, we need L, we need M, and we need N. So the next thing is we want to do this consolidation one company at a time. So I'm going to create a drop down here. I'm going to create a drop down here for company. When we use the drop down for the company, this entire report, see this report, it's quite a large report. This entire report will update. Now, one golden rule in modeling, because this is really a model we're building, one golden rule in modeling is called left to right consistency. Your formulas must be left to right consistent. So when you write a formula to the left, you should just drag it, yeah, and it works. But this one doesn't work, obviously. It's not left to right consistent because this is not October. So you know that this can't work. So left to right consistency is one of the golden rules. And if you know that rule well, you'll be able to build efficient tools because you just need to write one formula once. So I need the names of the company. I'm going to use data validation. And data validation just gives me a list. I go to source, I go to, let's say, control, and I highlight my companies, and then I say, okay. What did that do? It just gave me a list of companies. I can just click on the list and pick any company I want. Now, once I pick a list of companies, I want this company to give me those 3 separate codes. Those codes for investment. What are those codes for? Let's check. Investment, capital, and operations, right? So let's paste. So I'm pasting these headings, and I'm going to simply do a VLOOKUP. So I'm doing a VLOOKUP. I'm saying, hey, VLOOKUP, please look at this name, right? And then go to this table called, I'm not sure what I call the table. I think I called it key, yeah? I named the table key. Now, for those that want to master VLOOKUP, go to our YouTube channel, dBrown Consulting. Go to YouTube, type dBrown Consulting, click and just type VLOOKUP in our channel. You see an excellent mastery of VLOOKUP. We'll give you some secrets. And I'm going to do a bad rule here. I'm going to type 2 here. 2 is hard coding. You shouldn't do that. And for those that know VLOOKUP, there's false or 0 here. This 2, we show you how to automate that in the video. You can go watch it. So if I do that, I see I. If I drag this to the right, it shows me I have to change this to 3, and then I have to change this to 4. Okay. All right, so that is investment, capital, and operations, right? A Limited. Now, why did I do this? Let me remind us of our problem that we had. Look at this formula. So this formula, one of the sections in this formula was this I. Can you see that? This I is simply only for investments for A Limited. Now, if I change A Limited to DACA, DACA investment is under column O of DACA. So I need to automate how this I and this O's and everything appears, right? So I need to automate this. So now I think I have everything I need for my automation. I have this here, which I can drag to the right and do Control R. If you want to copy something to the right, it's Control R, right? Now I have everything I need to automate. Now let's do the automation process. To automate this, if you look at this text, I need to construct it. It's like a manufacturer, an engineer. I need to construct it inside a function called indirect. All right? So for us to kind of understand this better, let me press FX. So if I press FX, you kind of get it better. So this is my SUMIF. So we're saying that this reference we have here, we're not going to highlight it. I'm going to cut it. Instead of typing that reference, I'm going to type indirect. All right? Indirect is the name of the function I'm going to type that's going to make me build the reference dynamically. And I'll build it dynamically. Now, if you want to put a function inside a function, you basically type the name of the function and you open and close your bracket. Then you go into the formula bar and select the name of the function in the formula bar, and then this box now changes to that function. If you watch any of our videos on YouTube, you see that this is the methodology we use to enter complex formulas, functions, that's functions inside functions. Now the reference here is where you now start building, you're basically building or constructing the reference. And look at how we're going to construct it. We're going to use the AND operator. It's called the join operator. The join operator, things that join things together, is the ampersand key. So look at it. I'm going to put double quotes. I hope you can see this. Double quotes, data XLS something something. Now see, this Jan is not dynamic. We're going to make it dynamic. So I'm going to put a double quote here. Then I put an and sign, and then I select this cell, E6. Please, someone should tell me the reference very quickly if you're following. Tell me the reference I should use for E6. Can you just type it into the chat? I know there's no prize. Echika has won the prize, but just type, what's the reference for E6? Can you help me out? Type into the chat or the question box, E6. What's the reference? No one's helping me out. What is the reference? E. Thank you. You see, Echika still again, $6. Thank you very much. Why is it $6? Because it's 6. We're locking row 6. We're locking row 6. Yeah? So $6. So instead of this Jan, see, I'm deleting this Jan. But you see there's an exclamation mark after this Jan. You need to put the double quotes. You need to put an and sign to say we've joined that $6, and then put another double quote, and then that exclamation mark will now be in double quotes. But really, you know, $B, all of that $B, we can leave that whole $B. So this is the construction work we did. It's kind of ugly, so I'm going to copy it and show you how it works. So that's one construction work we've done for the first range, or the first range for my SUMIF. If I go back to SUMIF, you see the indirect is now inside my SUMIF, constructing it, and it says volatile. Volatile is there because indirect is a volatile function. There are a few volatile functions in Excel. For those that don't know what that means, it means that this function has a temperament. It basically means anytime you do any calculation in Excel, this function recalculates itself. It just, without asking, it just recalculates. It's volatile. Now, if you go to any modeling book, they will tell you to avoid volatile functions. They kind of can mess up your model, but this is the only way to automate this, what we're doing. Now we're going to automate the second one. So the second one is a little bit more tedious. So let's see. Copy. So instead of having that range of highlighting the sum range like we do in normal SUMIF, we delete and we write indirect. What do I do? Open and close bracket. Then I click into my formula bar. Okay, sorry. Let me just do that again. Right, indirect. Open and close your bracket. Then I click into my formula bar and indirect comes out. And then I paste what I just copied, which is the second reference, which has our data sheet and January 17 and then column I. So to make this dynamic, I'm going to put a double quote in the name of the sheet, data, another double quote, and then I'm putting an and sign, and then I'm now deleting that January 17 again, and instead I'm going to highlight the name of the sheet at the top, and as Echika said, this E6 should be E$6. Then I'll put another and sign, then I put another double quote, and then I basically highlight just the exclamation mark in double quotes. That exclamation mark is essential. That's how Excel knows you're referring to a sheet, with that exclamation mark. Then I put another and sign. I know it sounds complex. Then after the and sign, instead of this $I, I delete it and I select investment at the top here. This investment at the top. Now, this is C2 at the top. Someone should tell me, what reference do I need? You remember, this is tip 1. Tip 1 of becoming a master is you need to understand the fundamentals. One of the core fundamentals is referencing. How do you reference cells? How do you reference? So here is C2. It's a relative reference. Someone should tell me, what reference should I use for this C2? So we have C$2. Okay, now remember, I'm going to take this formula, I'm going to drag it down and drag it right all the way. I'm dragging it down and right. So I cannot afford for C2 to change at all. So I must do an absolute reference. It has to be absolute. Has to be absolute because this single cell is controlling the whole report. Okay, it has to be absolute. So I'm making it absolute, and then I click out and I click into SUMIF. Now SUMIF has now been made a volatile function. So if I click OK, you will see a ref. Can you say a ref? What's happening? Ref, SEP 16. Anybody tell me, do you know what's going on? It's not working. Now when you see reference error, don't be scared. Trust in your abilities in Excel and say, okay, let's go find out what's going on. So now, again, I'm opening this data sheet, right? I'm going to do something we don't normally do. If somebody gets the answer to what is going on right now, you're getting that price as well. You're going to get that same training that Echika won. If you get what is wrong, what happened, type it into the chat. If you get it, then you're winning the prize. So what do you think the problem is? What do you think the problem is? Have you identified it? Let me give you a clue. If you check my report, I had ref, and look at the heading. See this heading here? September 2016. What is the problem? Anybody? I've given you a nice clue. What is the problem? Bode said it specifically. Bode longer. Let me read what Bode said. Bode said SEP 16 does not match the helper cell in text. Perfect. Now let me show you, Bode, congratulations. With just one question, you have won yourself that prize. Please, let's clap for Bode. I mean, that's excellent. Can we just give Bode a clap? Yes, guys, just clap, 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 clap. Bode, you've won it. So everything I said about to Echika, just go to that officetraininghub.com, go to that course, what's it called, Report Automation in Modern Excel, click on the free, and then if you have any issues not getting the full course, send an email to training@dbrownconsulting.net. So congratulations to Bode and congratulations to Echika. Excellent. Let me explain what Bode said. Look at this. If you look up, we did some construction work, right, where we were using this. Why did we not use this? Because this is a number. If I come in here and say equals to this, right, Excel, if I do Ctrl-Shift-1, what is really in that cell is 42,614. We want to use SEP 16. But SEP 16 is what we're pretending or we're assuming the name of the sheet is SEP 16. But if we come to our data source, the sheet is not called SEP 16, it's called September 16. So I need to delete and make sure the sheet is exactly the same spelling. So I'm changing the name of the sheet to SEP 16 in that other workbook. Now when I come back, guess what? It's now working. You can see there's nothing in there because there's nothing for EP002. But if I copy this, let me copy this here. I can copy it anywhere, really. This formula is 100% left to right consistent. I can copy and highlight the whole table all the way to the end and enter. You're going to see some refs too. Don't be scared. Okay, so now look at this. Can you see this value? 345,000. Now guess what? This works for everything. I can come here, change this company to Top Limited, and see everything updates. Now let's sort out a few other refs, but the few other refs are no problem at all. But see, this is you built a data tool to extract every single thing from that other sheet, and it just works. But this is only extracting investments. So this is like investments. But let's look at other things about this. Let's see. This ref, what's happening here? See February and March, ref. You're like, what's going on? Everything looks fine. What's going on? February and March have issues. Now, obviously, since Bode has answered that question, you have an idea what the problem is. Let's go back to the data source. Let's see February and March. February looks fine. Can you see, look up. Can you guys see February 17 and then March? They're the ones that have problems. February 17 and March 17. As far as I'm concerned, February 17 is fine. So what do you think the problem is? March definitely is not fine. Let's correct March. March 17, right? So now if I go back, can you see that March is solved? March is working fine. Someone should tell me what the issue with February. No price for again, no price, sorry. What? See, Feb 17 is exactly the same as Feb 17, isn't it? Can you see any other problem? Let me just tell you, it's a very wicked problem. Very, very wicked problem. Look at the problem. Just look closely. Feb 17 is really not Feb 17. There's one very annoying space in the chart name. So when someone typed this chart name, he typed Feb 17 space. Very wicked. You delete that space, just that space after Feb 17. I told you space is a character, okay? So I just deleted just that space. Go back and see Feb 17 is perfect. Then let's check what is the problem with October, November, and December. Well, it's because this sheet stopped in September. So do you get, if I had inserted a new sheet, right, and I call this new sheet October 17, so you can imagine that this tool just works even as people are working on this data source somewhere else. You, the manager, is just seeing things enter. See, I've inserted October 17, right? October has appeared. Can you see that? October has appeared. It's like magic, really. So ref, yeah, it's fine. We could just say ref, that means there's no data. I actually like to see the ref error, so I know, oh, there's no data there. So I don't want, some people say, oh, put if error. Don't put if error, that's what I tell you. Leave the ref, so you know, yes, there is an issue here. And then what you can do with your total, instead of your total being like this, you write an array formula. Now, for people who get confused at this, you could go and watch some of our videos. We tell you how to master array formulas. So I'm going to write a simple array formula that says, I want to sum, yeah, and then the only way I want to sum is the if error. If there is an error when you highlight these values here, so F4, or not F4, let's just say we're locking the columns. If there's an error when you do that, give me 0. Yeah. So if error is 0, and we're just going to sum the range if not, right? Something like that. Yeah. So if you look at these values and then we double click. So this gives me my, so I've just shown you the formula, guys. It sounds kind of funny. I'm just saying sum, if there is an error in that range I want to sum, then give me 0. Now the issue is this is not a normal Excel function. If I enter, it won't work. You have to do Control-Shift-Enter. Control-Shift-Enter is how to enter array formulas, and you double click. So there's a lot to learn in Excel. There's a lot to learn in Excel, but this is your tool. The tool works perfectly. The only difference now is we are only calculating for investments. So if I want to calculate for capital and operations all in one, all I need to do is copy this tool, copy the formula, copy, go to the end of my formula, press plus, paste the new formula, and then the only difference is in the new formula is instead of looking at this, is now looking at this. Oh, sorry, I didn't do that. So instead of looking at C2 is looking at D2, F4, that's the second one. Enter. Then I go again, I copy and paste again, plus, and I copy and paste another set of the formula, and then I select operations, F4. And then now I can copy, highlight the whole thing, and enter. And this is now my tool that basically consolidates the entire database, and the entire database gives me 83.4 billion or something like that. Now if I come to my consolidated report, and if you had a consolidated report, that is, I don't really have one that I've corrected, you would see that that just consolidates perfectly. So that's how you do it. I don't know if anyone has any comments to type out. That is how you build this tool. We'll try and get this up for you online. So in the probably early next week, you'll see it online and you can watch the video and go through and see how that is done. But this, to me, is one of the most complex formulas, but it looks so simple, but it's actually complex, and using a function called indirect. Now, if I delete this, obviously, there's going to be a ref, right? So everything works together. Super. All right, any questions, guys? Thank you for staying, and thanks for staying the extra time. I'm just going to quickly go through the last slides. Unfortunately, we weren't able to look through our custom visual, but I think this was a good case study that I wanted to bring to you guys before we finish. So again, thanks to the winners that won Report Automation in Modern Excel. Excellent. You got that, and once you finish that, you probably should think about doing reporting and analytics with Power BI with us. So you go to powerbi.com and check that out. And this is our contact details for everybody. And thank you very much for having us. Let me see if I missed any other thing I would like to tell you. Yeah, our live meetup is coming up on Saturday. where we're going to talk about from zero to dashboard in 1 hour. So we're going to go through an interesting case study from zero to dashboard, and then we have other nice treats for you. So if you can make it on Saturday, the venue was formerly in VI, but we have to change the venue. There were some issues with the venue, so we're going to have to change the venue, and we'll let you know. So just go register for the meetup, go to our meetup group, join the meetup, and then register for this Saturday's live meetup. It's going to be from 10 o'clock to 1 o'clock, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. And it's going to be interesting. We'll let you know the venue once you register. You get the venue. We'll tell you the venue today. All right. This was the September updates. This is what Microsoft did for the September update for Power BI. So these are the new things that they brought in September. Yeah, and quite interesting new stuff. We'll probably do another drill down through next month's webinar. We'll go in detail with this. I was wanting to show you some custom visuals, but we're not able to do that. So I would like to leave you guys with our tip number 10 and say thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you next month. You can register right now for next month. You don't need to wait till next month. The same link you got, just register for next month's webinar and join our meetup group for Power BI and Excel, our meetup group for financial modeling, our Power BI user group for Lagos, Nigeria, and go and kind of get free videos on our YouTube channel, subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm on Twitter, I'm dbrownanalyst, and I'm also on Facebook, and I'm on LinkedIn, and you're free to connect with me. And thanks a lot for being such a cool sport. And congratulations to Etika again and Bode for winning our prize. 2 excellent prize winners. Thanks, everybody, and we'll see you on Saturday and also next week. Thank you, and bye-bye.